Earthworm Jim, the comic book, has now made over $700,000. It is currently over, just ended about an hour ago. And it is now the most successfully crowdfunded comic of all time. I don't know if anyone's going to beat that anytime soon. But one thing that does show you is that there is still a demand for comic books and some old properties. However, I would argue that comic books, given that this isn't a fluke, Cyberfrog, Jawbreakers, you see this with John Malin's products, that Umbrella guy. You see comics that are crowdfunded making a lot of money. And I think it shows you that people still want comics. They still want the medium. Marvel and DC, they're not listening. You get that old get woke, go broke, right? And I think that this kind of shows that. No one's coming for the pandering lecture books that Marvel's putting out, where they tell you you're bad for what you're thinking about, or when you go onto Twitter and the people openly insult you and call you a piece of trash. These people don't call you a piece of trash. They welcome you and they want you to check out their stuff. Now, Doug TenNapel can be somewhat of an opinionated guy, and he's not afraid to share his views, but he will treat you with respect. He doesn't go insulting people, and for the most part, from what I've seen, is a pretty genuine guy. He's been good to me, always had my back, and that's something that I appreciate very much. However, because of his views on some things, of course he's going to get attacked. And a lot of the crazy NPCs over on Twitter and shill media sites, they've been attacking him. They've attacked him once or twice at the start of this campaign. Didn't work. They backed off. I covered this a while ago. A couple other people covered it as well. And it didn't really flare back up for a while. But now that it's coming to an end and has ended, you can expect them to attack again. So we've got somebody that's doing that, and I'm going to cover that in a second. But let me tell you why this is going on now. So when Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers, by the way, check out Jawbreakers God King, also another Indiegogo book that's going on right now. You can find the link for that in my community tab. I will also link this and that book in the description for this video. I believe this is probably going to go into demand, so a lot of these tiers will definitely go away because of that. But I think he is going to put it in demand, so you might still have a chance to back it. Just in case, I will link it in the description. Now, one of the reasons why they didn't full out attack this book is because of what happened with Cyberfrog and Jawbreakers last year. So Jawbreakers was originally making around $150,000. And then Mark Waid went and decided, hey, I don't want this book to get into comic shops, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and block him from being able to do that. So he tortiously interfered with what was going on there. This brought a lot of attention to that campaign and really blew it up. They did the same thing with Cyberfrog, the Ethan Van Sciver book. And because of that, it really brought a lot of attention to that. Cyberfrog blew up as well. I still think it would have, blown up without it, but when these NPC people go after stuff, trust me, they bring a lot of attention to it, and that's just how it is. They have learned from this, though. So what they did is they kind of ignored Earthworm Jim. They didn't really say anything about it, and it still made money. So now that the campaign is over, you're going to see the NPC come out and go after Doug. You're going to see them going after in television, and probably the shiny people. You can't believe you got this guy coming out. But here's the thing. They tried that before, and they actually stuck with him, which I thought was pretty cool. So, like I said, they've learned. What they're going to do is ignore it until the campaign's over. I think this is going to be like kind of the normal thing. Because look what happened with Umbrella Guy. They went after him and pretty much became free advertisers. So sometimes I think they learn. So check this out. I'm going to show you some stuff that's going on here. All right, so as you can see, this was published yesterday, July 12th. They wait to the very end, which is still kind of stupid because from what I've been watching these crowdfunded campaigns for a while, right from the start, they get a big boost. You've got to constantly promote them during the campaign, and then at the end, when the clock's ticking down, you get a huge push. So it was kind of still stupid to do this because now you pushed it ahead again. It's really funny. So I would say at least $50,000 can be attributed to Laura Hudson here, who decided to come out and go after Doug. And because of that, she probably made Doug a lot of money. So it's just really stupid. These people never learn. It's like, well, if I just throw the woke narrative at it, maybe people won't back it. It doesn't happen, does it? It never works. There's a strong history of people standing up to these clowns and making money. It's there. My favorite example is Deliverance Kingdom Come, or is it Kingdom Come Deliverance? That's a video game. You can find it on Steam, PS4, and Xbox One. And you had a lot of these people like Kotaku and Polygon going, Richard just got this stuff in it and we don't like it. It needs more POC, Wicket. And they didn't listen. And because of that, their crowdfund was a massive success, and the game actually sold super well. And, that's just the way it works, and I love that. So former Comics Alliance editor Laura Hudson took to Twitter to go after Earthworm Jim creator Doug TenNapel. Hudson describes TenNapel as an openly, ismphobe troll and Earthworth Breitbart writer. Her attack comes as TenNapel has raised $600,000 at the time, now over $700,000, for an Indiegogo campaign in his upcoming book, Earthworm Jim Launched the Cow, which I have backed, by the way. I've actually backed this book day one. Usually I'll wait, but I was actually a big Earthworm Jim fan when I was a kid. Loved those first two games. So when this got announced, I was really excited. I think a lot of people are really excited. Hudson specifically took aim at TenNapel's past comments and interaction with Kotaku writer Heather Alexandria. In those comments, he referred to Alexandria, who is, T-gender, as a good man. TenNapel also used the pronouns he and him to refer to Alexandria. And here's some links. Now, I don't know what the story was of that. It might have been a mistake or something like that. Either way, I know that there are people who, believe in certain different views of Doug's, or, live that lifestyle, or do want to make that kind of change in themselves. And he's always been respectful to them, even though he disagrees with it. And I think that there's a lot to be said for just giving people respect and being nice to them. I don't understand this push to make people 100% agree with your viewpoints. It should be about just getting along and respect with people and being able to, be civil. And I know the man has always been that. He's always been nice to people unless you come out and go after him or something. So this is a blatant lie on him right here. He wasn't trolling anybody. The conversation was actually pretty fair and pretty civil. So regardless of what anybody believes there, I think as long as you're willing to listen to people and be civil with them, I think that's kind of really what matters. And that's how you find common ground with people. But of course, that doesn't matter. Trying to get around Earthworm Jim, Laura uses a 0 there so no one can find it. Listen, I liked Earthworm Jim too, but if you're gonna think about funding that Kickstarter, just be aware you're also supporting an openly ismphobe troll and Earthworth Breitbart writer, because people are constantly disappointing in the most unnecessary ways. Goes on and got this guy to come in here. Many within the corresponding thread agreed with Laura's opinions on the matter. One user even pointed to other celebrities such as James Woods and Dean Cain, and they're disappointing due to their personal and political beliefs. Yes, that pains me every time. James Wood, John Voight, Kevin Sorbo, Dean Cain, and countless others, people whose work I enjoy. Meh. They say never meet your heroes, and Twitter allows that. However, I've been way more disappointed than pleased. I agree, because, I used to be a huge fan of comic books. And then I got to get on Twitter and meet the people who write them, and they immediately called me a piece of trash and garbage and told me I was a terrible piece of crap because I wanted professionalism. And, Doug and a lot of these other people that are being named here by them, You know, may not agree with them on some things, but they've never, you know, went after anybody because, hey, you know, you have a different viewpoint. So it's a little hypocritical the way these people act and talk. In my opinion, it's pretty dang hypocritical. So I say here, this isn't the first time TNAPL has come under fire from a journalist with quotations. I like that. Following the announcement of a brand new Earthworm Jim game, and I actually covered this, Chris Solian indicated that it would be tricky for him to review the game because Doug is involved. Like, how is it tricky for you to review the game, by the way? Like, you're supposed to be able to review the game objectively as a reviewer. I do it all the time. I still do review comics on my other channel, and I praise, there's a book called The Immortal Hulk, which I praise. I think it's a great book. Al Ewing, he's kind of a garbage person, the way he treats fans. However, the book is pretty good. When you're reviewing something, you need to be honest. Like, I can tell you, hey, you know, Al Ewing blocks half his customers. If you're okay with that, pick the book up. That's what you're supposed to do. But, you know, these people, they're so morally bankrupt that they don't care because they're journalists and they're more activists than actual reviewers or critics or journalists. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to congratulate Doug with his $700,000 campaign, and I wanted to cover that people are going after it, and you're going to see more of it because that's just what goes on with this. So anyway, check out the links in the description, particularly the link to my Twitch too. It's free to go follow me over there. And check out your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed, of course, because that's how it is over here now. So people have been getting unsubscribed, so make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscription bell if you're new. Hit the notification bell. Throw a like up and share the video if you would. We really do rely on word of mouth now, and liking actually does help the video. So I encourage you to do those things if you would like to, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.